What's going on, guys? Isaac here, once again playing some more Medieval 2 Total War because I can't get Rome 2 Total War to work at all. It's quite ridiculous, and I'm going to talk about that in just a bit. But let's go ahead and first talk about what's going on in this video. I'm playing as Hungary. I have my General's Bodyguard, 2 Pavis Spearmen, who look quite awesome, I might add. They have those Pavis shields that the Pavis crossbowmen wear. I have, count. 1, 2, are these the same guys? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4 dismounted feudal knights, this whole dismounted thing again, and 1 dismounted chivalric knights, which personally I think they would be better. Look at their shields, but actually they're worse than the feudal knights. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 units of these halberd militia who do this awesome spear wall and kick ass, even though they have like the worst armor, which is actually, I think 1 is the default, but you can upgrade to gold, so it's like 5. I have 4 crossbowmen who shoot very powerful crossbows. I have no idea what this guy is doing. I'm kind of wondering. He's probably in Shakespeare, you know, practicing for Shakespeare. Then, of course, excuse me, I have 2 feudal knights and a royal, but yeah, he's heavy cav, and somewhere around here, we'll get to it later, I have a Hungry nobles, or noble riders, or something like that. He shoots missiles, essentially. And as you can tell, this is a 3-player free-for-all, so let's go ahead and look at what my opponent has. Here we have Scotland. And essentially he just spammed a whole bunch of this quote-unquote heavy infantry that has terrible armor upgrades, so he has a whole bunch of these Gala whatever. I know he has some Highland rabble, some more, here's some Highland nobles, really big swords, Highlanders and stuff like that. So that's kind of a scary thought. And I see my situation back here, and I'm essentially trapped. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to calmly walk my army this way and form up on this hill, so both my opponents have to react. Because if you look at what my other opponent brought, here we have Milan, he has a whole bunch of pikemen, 4 units of pikemen. Hey, look at the standard, yeah, that'll be helpful, especially if you're just going to stand there. He has probably about 5-6 units of the Attrition crossbowmen. Essentially his entire army is just missile units with some, you know, pikemen and a couple units of dismounted feudal knights. And here I'm using my Hungarian nobles to shoot them in the back. And here's the first casualty of the entire battle. Kind of saddening. Hate to be that guy. So my opponent's going to react to this by pulling out some of his... What the hell is that name? I don't even know what that is. He's using some of his heavy cav to try and chase my horse archers away. But that's not gonna, you know, work the best, I'm sure, as you can imagine, because I'm just gonna shoot at him. He actually has them in loose formation, which I found quite interesting that he decided to do that. So I'm just gonna pull my horse archers back towards some, you know, all my spearmen and heavy infantry. So he is going to hopefully do the smart thing. He is slowly turning around, but they're getting shot at. Let's see. I already took several casualties from several of my volleys. So let's see if he takes any more. Especially with the back turn. Oh, they're getting hit. Little blood splatters and whatnot. Oh, that guy goes down. Now let's go see what Scotland's doing. Scotland is essentially just rushing his men after me. And I kind of figured that this was going to be a go after me kind of game, because the two seem to be friends, but I don't know. So at this point in time I decided to go ahead and start running my men, and unfortunately I forgot to take these guys out of shield wall formation, so even whenever they're walking like half as slow as everyone else, which is really annoying. So I had to run these guys right in the face of the Scottish rabble. But I'm going to use my horse archers, and they are essentially just going to shoot at these guys. And like I said, These guys are heavy infantry, but Scotland does not have good defense at all. Like, no defensive points, no armor. So, these arrows are going to hurt quite a bit. Also remember that he has no archers himself, which is kind of a bad idea. So, he can't compete with my 4 units of crossbowmen, and he's actually going to chase after my horse archers, which I found quite hilarious with these pathetic heavy infantry. So the entire time I'm just going to run him through a forest and shoot at him. At the same time, I kind of missed it over here. He decides to go ahead and charge in my Milan opponent with his heavy cav, and that's fine. He went after my crossbowmen, that's completely fine, because I have, of course, my spearmen, heavy spearmen, and some dismounted feudal knights, and more spearmen coming in. So that's completely fine by me, and that allows me to go ahead and form back up. And he's just wasting his time, essentially, here. You can see, how many did he lose? Yeah, he's down to 19, and those guys go ahead and rout. And wow, a lot more casualties, because I routed through one of my own units. So, forming up my line once again, because unfortunately it did get disorganized. And I took a couple casualties with my spearmen and a couple knights, but nothing too bad to cause any real problems. I don't know what I'm shooting at. I guess he's routing. Yeah, I'm shooting at those routing guys. So let's go ahead and see what Scotland's gonna do. I'm still not ready, and I see he's charging towards my guys, like he's trying to outflank, I guess. And that I can't do that because you can see I'm still trying to get ready. Look at this. Here Milan comes again. That's completely fine. Look at that. First horse goes down. He walks into a spear wall of halberds. But anyways, back to what Scotland's doing. I charge in my feudal knights to basically stop these guys. Now, this is not a fight that my feudal knights are going to win, especially with this many, but alone against these kind of axemen. But you can see what the charge did alone. See all those dead bodies? It's a mixture of quite a few people. And so, now because he's fixed on this, I get to outflank and outmaneuver. And also, I get to use my crossbows to be very, very efficient. And essentially, this is what my army was designed for: just stop and hold someone. Because I have the halberd militia that's going to just entangle someone, and then at the same time I get to hammer anvil and stuff like that. And look at these guys; they're down to 7 men, and they're still holding out, which is quite amazing. Do that, and they actually routed some Highland rabble right there. So they did their job for sure. And they're down to 4 guys now. But you can see all these crossbow bolts coming in, and slowly but surely that's just going to whittle them down pretty badly. Look more, probably Scottish rabble.
Our men are under attack. We need to act.
No, this is actually very heavy infantry, which is somewhat surprising. Morale is very with Scotland. It's very situational. So here I'm going to set up for a hammer and anvil, but my men kind of falter quite a bit. Now while everything's going on with the Scottish opponent over here, Milan decides to go ahead and do a somewhat smart idea. Go ahead and try to attack me, leave his new box. However, he actually decides to do it in loose formation. I guess he's terrified of my crossbowmen. So I'm going to use several units of both dismounted chivalric knights and my halberd militia to essentially just stop these guys. And that charge was actually really effective. I took quite a few kills, down to 53. Remember, he was in loose formation, definitely not good for him. And this is kind of a scary force, but he actually goes, he uses his pikemen and pulls out their swords.
Our men are under
That's fine
attack.
by me.
We must act now.
He can totally waste the usefulness out of them. And so essentially I'm just backing this up. Here I'm using my halberd militia, put them in spear wall, or halberd wall I guess you could call it. And they're just going to stop these guys. They can't advance anywhere, because look at these halberds. That's got to be quite devastating. I would say they should have been a lot more devastating in this game, because the halberd was a huge technological advantage. Here, I don't know what he's doing with his cavalry. I guess he thought about a hammer anvil, but my general's bodyguard is going to come after him. Look at that charge.
We must act
yeah,
now.
No joke that they're shaking. And they're probably going to break very soon. Down to 4 guys. They're wavering. Yeah, they're going to break very soon. Here you can see, used a Shiltron with my guys. And we'll talk about that more in just a little bit. But essentially, this is just to stop my opponent as much as possible. My halberd militia are actually no match for dismounted feudal knights, but in a spear wall, just holding their position, they can do enough. And I'm just essentially whittling his guys down. And soon enough, my crossbowmen will start firing into these guys. And it won't do much against these dismounted feudal knights, but will do quite a bit against the pikemen, because it seems like every single pikeman unit in this game has really bad armor. Back on this side, I guess you can consider the left side, because it's kind of a strange fishhook situation. I'm still setting up the Scotland
Our
army,
men are under attack. We
whittling
need to
them all
act.
down, because I have 37 of these guys, and I'm able to pin these guys right down. Pretty pitiful charge by my guys right there, but they're going to do what they're supposed to. These guys probably, yeah, look, there's a route there. These guys are shaking, all pretty shaking, and my guys are still eager. So just a huge mess. And like I said, crossbows coming into all of these guys. This is perfection for what I want. So let's go ahead and watch these guys shoot. I wish I could do the cinematic mode. Actually, they're shooting over there to the right side. I believe there is one point in time wherever I did actually change positioning. And here he's deciding to go ahead and try it swing right. I don't know why he did that. This is like entire army. But that's fine. All those guys just bit the dust big time. Because while he's marching, he's just getting stabbed with halberd. So you can see, using my heavy cav to try and take down some of his archers, but he's actually backing up with some pikemen. Probably should have put them pike wall, I guess you could call it, spear wall, whatever you call it. And here I'm using a side charge to kind of waver these guys. Some of them are actually quite happy. See by the happy, yeah, they're steady and whatnot. Some of them are somewhat shaken. But I'm doing my job here as Scotland is slowly coming over here. I essentially did my job right here by holding Milan back with very minimal
The enemy
forces.
general is no true man. He flees the field of battle and abandons his men to their fate. Only half the enemy force
essentially,
remains.
the video can be back together right now because everyone's coming back from here. And look at all of this. He's charging over here, attacking Milan and all of this good stuff at the same time. Here you see Halberd's dealing with his standard, which he did not bring up. Milan opponent should have done that. And he's essentially, Scotland's going to do a hammer anvil on these guys with my own troops, which I thought was quite hilarious. Come on, Hungarian nobles.
Flees like the coward he is.
Thank you so much, advisor.
And break this
there's more
of his
island
army.
rabble going away. Unfortunately, I did run out of arrows with my horse archer, so I do use them to charge. But the thing about these guys, they are light horse archers, but they can hold up in a fight really well. If they have nobles in their name, they're typically really well. At this point in the battle, I'm still holding up my halberd militia and sending over some more dismounted feudal knights, and I use a unit of Pavese spearmen, and I just form a Schiltron. And that's essentially, if these guys break, they're just going to rush right into this, getting caught up on a huge circle. And boom, look at this. Everyone either routs or is fighting to the death. And fighting to the death is really annoying because it's kind of hard to get rid of at times in this game. And I don't understand why they're fighting to death, but and boom, Scotland decides to go ahead and admit defeat. Good idea. Instead of just sitting there.
Only intervention by the Almighty Lord or a military genius can bring us victory from this
And
debacle.
yes, my advisor is saying that we are basically screwed. Because now, look at all my depleted forces after we dealt with these damn Scotland heavy infantry. 20 guys left in this unit, 6 in this unit. So essentially, now I have to go deal with all
The
of this
enemy
heavy
are
infantry.
badly blooded. They have lost half their
I really
men.
hate that advisor so much. I really need to turn him off. And here, I think I turn off Schiltron and just go ahead and march forward and start stabbing people.
Lord be merciful, we have lost half of
Let's
our
actually go ahead
men.
and watch some of this action. This guy looks pretty awesome. I like his armor. As long as he doesn't kill my guy, because, of course, rooting for my guy. What kind of miss was that? I just stabbed him. Oh no, he killed him. Okay, he's dead. But essentially, remember, he has nothing but a lot of pike militia, so it's not going to be the best, even though I just have halberd militia. And here, my opponent decides to pull
The
up his
battle
general's
seems
bodyguard.
to be swinging in our favor.
Not sure why.
From such tidings,
And
a victory emerged.
Here's what his decision is. Instead of doing a hammer anvil, which probably would have broke some of my guys, he decides to go after my archers for firing into his guys. And I'm okay with that, because I can now free up my general and do hammer anvils against him. Now remember also, he brought a lot of Genovese crossbowmen, so I'm using my very depleted cavalry force to go ahead and try to disrupt these guys. Look at this, 4 guys left, and they're kicking the ass out of my cavalry. Like 1 guy left in this unit, a couple left in this. It was pretty sad, but unfortunately missed it. His main
Our men are under
just
attack. We must
totally
act
broke.
now.
So essentially all he has now is crossbowmen, which I could have taken care of with my own, crossbows. And his general's bodyguard, which he decides to leave here, and that's fine, because remember all those crossbow guys he went after? Well, he didn't kill them. I don't know why he decided not to go ahead and finish them off, but yeah, he's showing off his side to us. So I just focus fire with all 4 units right into them, and that's going to devastate that unit. And I'm just using the rest of my cavalry, even my general's bodyguard, to go ahead and take care of this last unit of Genovese crossbowmen. They're quite effective. Like I said in my Milan video, they're very scary. They can do what they're designed to. Look at the swords they have and the shield. Kind of like we have Pavis spearmen, which are really effective. At this point in time, I actually try to use my halberd militia to go ahead and stab these guys, but he decides not to. But lucky for me, his guys rout, so I can do one huge charge. Poor nobles take it first, but that's fine by me. So it's General's bodyguard versus General bodyguard. He has 10, I have 16. Who will win? I'm sure you can all imagine who would win. Plus I have my Hungarian nobles. This is the last guy here. He is stabbing at this guy. That guy does not even care. Ooh, that guy cared. A lot. That is a pitiful stab. Ooh. Jeez. It wasn't good. And here comes in the rest of my halberd militia. They look quite stupid running like that. And I just want to point this out.
Very much in our favor.
Upgrades in this game can help. I upgraded these guys several
will be ours.
And look, 2 guys left and they're still steady. Maybe because, my general's here, but 5 guys left and halberd militia coming in. Yeah, my opponent is basically screwed, even though my advisor told me that I was. And let's go ahead and find his general right there. How much longer does he have? Wow, he took that guy down. Oh, but then he goes down himself. And essentially with that, go ahead and rout. You won, pathetic cavalry unit. And there goes my general. Alright, so that was a victory. Not a clear victory, anything like that. It was just, okay, sure, victory. So, I deployed 1,111 men. That's a lot of ones. The second most guys. You can see Milan deployed only 851. I don't know why he had so few. He probably should have went, with less archers. I learned I'm going to stop moving this camera around, so we're just going to look at all the dead bodies and put it right here. And you see, look how many men Scotland lost. That was pretty sad. So, quick look at casualties. Wow, 194 feudal knights. That is probably the most I have seen in Medieval 2. That is quite amazing for one unit, but essentially, what did I do right? Actually, I'm going to lie and go ahead and move my camera. So you guys remember, I started out over here. My opponent, Scotland, was over there. That's actually his routing army still. And Milan was over here, and basically a noob box with pikemen. Don't know why people do that, especially in Medieval, because it doesn't work that way. But anyways, I decided to, 1, stay calm, because I knew I was going to be pinchered, and I decided that I wanted the high ground, give myself as many advantages as possible, so that's why I came over here. And wow, that's a lot of dead bodies. That's quite terrible. But I saw the weaknesses of both my opponents. I have the better infantry for one. I have horse archers, but I have limited mobility. The same thing with my opponent of Milan. He had really good archers, but he had very limited mobility. But I had just a little bit more than him. But Scotland had the most mobility, but he had the least armor, so I decided to go ahead and make this guy run up, waste some of his time, and charging up a hill against halberd militia that basically just kept him right there as he got shot up by a whole bunch of crossbows and got hacked down from the sides by both mounted and dismounted knights. That was really effective. Remember, Scotland does have pretty decent morale. You see the Scottish rabble doesn't. Of course, they're essentially the peasants, but their armor really, really sucks, but their attack is really high, but luckily I had enough defense points to negate most of that. And at the same time, over here, I just essentially was stopping the infantry of Milan. What he should have done was move his archers up and start shooting my guys in the side, but he decided not to. Don't know why. And remember, I had that one spear unit in Shiltron. Shiltron's really effective. You can't really move at all with it, but if you can put it in a situation where it's just going to stop right there and have any enemy charge right into you, that was perfect. If this line of halberd militia that was stopping Milan had broken, they would have naturally charged forward and hit that Shiltron, then got engaged on that. So it was a win-win for me, because taking down a Shiltron is actually really hard, unless of course you have a lot of archers, and he decided not to use his crossbow missile units very well, unlike what I decided to do. And I was also bothering them with what was left of my cavalry after my hammer and anvils on the Scottish stupid Highlander nobles and whatnot, and Gallo whatevers. I decided to go ahead and take care of his archers, because I saw them as the main threat of Milan, because essentially his infantry basically sucked. It was just pikemen, militia, and a couple, like 3 units of, dismounted feudal knights or whatever they were, chivalric knights, someone who was dismounted. But just keep in mind, with any Total War game, of course, always stay calm, collected, and everything will go in your favor. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something with going against 3-player people. Try to get them to, get tied down, take down one enemy at a time. Like, comment, subscribe, it helps me out a lot. And I will catch you guys in the next chapter.